Hello all, welcome to our channel, The Unearthed Facts. Today we have an ace trader, Amit Sinha, with us. We are going to pick his brain on one of the FNO stocks, and we'll try to understand different ways on how to analyze that particular stock, and in general, how to analyze stocks. And we'll also try to figure out if there is a right moment or what is the right moment to enter that stock. With that, let me hand over the mic to my good friend Amit. Amit, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Sumit. So for this session, we have picked Reliance Industries. So primarily, we're going to talk about around five different scenarios. First, in terms of stock technically, and then in terms of valuations fundamentally. And the second point would be how we analyze on a various parameter category data. That will be VPA, that's a value price analysis, trade line, chart pattern. Third would be what is the right point to buy from the long perspective, and then would be second would be seller position, and the most critical that what are those levels that you should avoid it. Otherwise, you will trap it. Market, you're gonna trap everyone. You will trap too. On the fifth point, get into fundamental. That will be kick ratio, interest coverage ratio. So in a way, we can provide you the overall technical as well the fundamental, and then based on that, you can take your calls. So let's start with that. Welcome our ex-technical expert. I mean, he has been guidance to many users that I'm aware of. And thank you, Amit Sinha, for being here.
Hello, friends. Yeah, today I'll be looking after the technical analysis. The right thing, see, we know that this share is going to go up, it's going to go down, right? But the important thing is that when we need to enter the stock, when we need to exit the stock, what are the right setups to enter the stock, how the stock behaves, what are the key movements which propel the stocks to go up and go down. Okay, so I'll be discussing everything today. So first of all, I'll just tell you that how the prices moves, right? The prices moves, that is nothing but the difference between the buyers and the sellers, right? When the buyers are strong, means when the buyers think that the share what we are getting is quite cheap, right? So what will happen? They are ready to buy, right? But at a certain point, you will find that the stocks are not going up because now the sellers are getting stronger. The sellers are thinking that the price has been elevated too high. So what will happen? They will try to push the price down. Okay. So now we'll see the example of Reliance Industries. Okay. So basically, uh, I see few criterias. I'll be looking after how the price is making higher high, higher low, lower high, and lower low. Okay, these are the criteria which I look after, right? So let's analyze the chart of Reliance Industries which we have. So we can see that the price was continuously falling from 2755, okay, and it has it has fallen to a level of 2496. Okay, again it tried to move up, okay, and but it was not able to cross 2600 significantly, right? Again the price has been pulled out. So what you can see over here, you can see that the price has came to a low somewhat over here. Again it tried to move up, but it was not able to move up. Again it came down. So what is this? This is a low, this is a lower high, this is the higher high, this is the lower high. Again it is coming down, right? Again this is making a new low, trying to go up, but it is not able to reach that previous high, right? It is coming down, but and again it is trying to go up, but it is not able to cross this high, right? And it is coming down. So the
Hey Amit, from the viewer's perspective, they would be
right, right.
those very support levels, right? Where they can rely and target them in terms of for selling support and resistance. Could you
No,
just highlight?
can you please come up again? Your voice was not so clear, right? Can you please come up again?
Also, for our viewers' perspective, would you please highlight support and resistance? For Reliance industry, they should be looking at, and based on that, right? They
Yeah,
rely on those.
I'll be coming. Yeah, I'll be coming to support and
Okay, okay,
resistance also. First, I'm just
okay,
explaining that higher high and higher low concept. After
okay,
I'll
okay.
come to support and resistance, right? So see, it's a this is the which is making lower low and lower high. So what does it mean that in the short term trend is negative, right? So we will have to either you can go for a short, but to go for a long, we will have to wait for it to for the momentum to change, right? For it to change from lower to come into higher high, higher low, right? So that is the one thing. And the second thing, I look that when the market is coming down to any support or a resistance point, right? So where to see the price action? There need to be some points where you need to see the price action, right? You can't see the price action at every place. So that is what you need to look for a support and resistance. Basically, what is support? Support is that place where you have buyers, active buyer. Means if the market goes to that place, you expect that the market, the buyer will step into and will take the price higher, right? That is support. What is resistance? Resistance is a place where the buyers, the sellers are getting stronger and they are not letting the market to move further up and they're pushing the market down, right? So how you'll mark support and resistance? See, there are many ways to mark support and resistance, right? Somebody, what they will see, someone will see that if the price is going to a particular point twice and thrice, and when it is coming down, they'll mark it as a support of resistance, right? That is also one thing. But what I basically do, I mark the swing highs as a resistance. You can see a swing high over here as a resistance. You can see this swing high over as a resistance, right? And swing low as support. This is what I mark, right? See, here I marked a swing low as a support. So you'll find that the market has came over here. It has came to this, and this support has acted as a resistance, and market has came down, right? This was a support, right? This was support. The market has broken the support, right? But if you see over here, this was a support. You can see this line 26 2369. That was the previous support where the market has came down and is pulled back from here itself, right? So this one I'll consider as a support. What has happened? Sometimes what will happen, there are a lot of operators in the market, right? So what will happen? They will try. Here you will find that the market is coming down and it has easily broken the support, right? But after breaking the support, you can't find a momentum downwards, right? You see the volume has also dried up. Even the volumes are not so high. If they are breaking a support, the volume should be high, right? If the volume is high and the support is broken with a big candle, means the seller are yet very active over there. But what is happening over here? The volume is not so high, but the support has been broken. So this means that this support has been broken because of the lack of buyers, right? Not because of the strength of the seller. Because at strength position, what will have basically at this point, this is a support point. So there should have been many buyers who would have tried to pull the market up, which you have found it on this 27. There is a buyer and tried to pull the market up. But what has happened the next day? The market has broken that support and it has closed below it convincingly. But the thing to notice was that the volume was not so high, right? If any support and resistance are broken with high volume and big candle, that is somewhat sustainable, right? In the next candle, you can see again the market was not able to go much lower. And the next candle, you can see nearly on the same volume, it has made a very big green candle. So what does it mean? This means that somehow the seller, you can see over here that there are not a lot of seller because the volume is not so high, right? But here you can see the volume here also is not so high, but the market has been pushed very heavily over here. So that means that the seller are not present over here. There are very less seller. Even a small number of buyers has put the market up. So this gives you a very good indication to go long over here. Why? Because there are two things. Once, no, sir, come up again. Actually, I'm not able to get you. Your voice is not clear. Come up again.
I'm saying, how do you identify buyers and sellers numbers in the
The,
chart?
the exact number we can't identify over here, right? But we can see.
Lower, high. Go ahead.
No, see, I'm telling you, exact number you can't identify. But if you see the volume, here you can see the volume, you can see the numbers, right?
Correct.
So if you see the volume is not very high, but the candle is big. So what does it mean? That there is a lack of buyer. If there is a fight
Correct,
between a buyer and a seller,
Yes.
what will happen? The candle will be small and the volume will be big, right? Means what? The buyer and the seller are both present. So none of them is trying to accept the defeat, right? But here what is happening? The candle is somewhat okay, but you're not having a much volume. Means what? The basically the buyers are not ready here to put the price up. Okay, the seller are taking it down. Here also the same thing happened. But in the next candle, if you see over here, with the same volume, the volume is somewhat nearly same, right? But what had happened over here? with the very same volume, it has made a big candle which has covered nearly the last two candles, right? You can see it is covering last two candles, right? What does it mean? The buyer has entered over here, but the seller are in no mood to put the market. I mean, अब seller क्या है ना यहाँ पे weak हो गया है, and they are not in the strength to put the market much more below. So what is happening over here? The buyer is getting into the market and is trying to push the price up, right? So see,
Correct.
in such cases, see what I'll tell. It was that it has broken the low. I'll have two conditions, right? It has broken the low. The low was broken, and with the less volume candle, a green candle, a big candle was made. So I will take a trade over here in this case, right? See, I'm the condition is that the support level should be broken downwards, right? And again, a bullish candle should be made with a bigger candle and less volume comparatively to the previous candle, right? So here I can take along with this stop loss, okay? But if you find here they are making a, this is a low, you can consider this is a high, this one is a lower low, right? And again it is crossing, and you can see that it is giving a good target. But my target will be this one will be my target, right? Why? This was my previous swing high, this one. So I will keep my previous swing high as a target.
बट मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि
हाँ,
वॉल्यूम अगर लो है, राइट,
हाँ,
जैसे कि आपने दिखाया, राइट,
हाँ.
वहां पे बेरिश कैंडल था एंड देन अगला वाला जिसको बुलिश बोलते हैं, राइट, तो वॉल्यूम लो है तो कितना डिटरमाइनिंग फैक्टर रखता है, मेरी बात समझ रहे हैं, राइट? ओवरऑल पर्सपेक्टिव से वॉल्यूम
हम प्रीवियस कैंडल से कंपेयर करेंगे.
एग्री, बट द वॉल्यूम लो है तो वो कितना स्ट्रॉन्ग बाय मतलब इंडिकेटर है, वॉल्यूम तो स्टिल लो है ना ये.
नहीं, वॉल्यूम लो है इसका मतलब देखिए, मेरा कहने का मतलब क्या है कि प्रीवियस कैंडल का वॉल्यूम समवॉट उतना ही था, ठीक है,
करेक्ट.
या 19-20 होगा उसका. तो उसके हिसाब से कैंडल का साइज दिखे तो ये काफी बड़ा है और ये ग्रीन में है. इसका मतलब क्या हो
यस.
रहा है कि प्रीवियस कैंडल का भी जो वॉल्यूम था लो था, तो वो सेलर था नीचे लाया, उसमें बायर प्रेजेंट नहीं था. अब ये जो वॉल्यूम आया है, अब ये जो वॉल्यूम छोटा सा वॉल्यूम बड़ा कैंडल बनाया है, इसमें क्या है कि इसमें सेलर आपका प्रेजेंट नहीं है, वो तो बहुत कम है, ज्यादातर बायर इसमें है, ठीक है.
समझ गया.
हाँ, और वो भी
अच्छा,
लो
ये
पे.
यहाँ पे करेक्ट समझ गया, थैंक यू. हियर एक क्वेश्चन मेरे दिमाग में आ रहा है कि ये जो सपोर्ट और रेजिस्टेंस का लेवल को डिफाइन नहीं है आपके, मतलब किसी अलग अलग बायर का वो सपोर्ट रेजिस्टेंस अलग अलग लेवल हो सकता है क्या? व्हाट आई मीन बाय दैट?
हाँ देखिए, एक्चुअली बेसिकली जो सपोर्ट और रेजिस्टेंस होता है ना, वो अलग अलग कोई 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 क्या करता है, 2-3 पोजीशन पे तो उसको सपोर्ट ले लेता है, ठीक है.
ओके
कोई कोई
ओके.
क्या करेगा, स्विंग हाई को स्विंग लो को सपोर्ट लेगा, राइट.
हाँ.
दैट डिपेंड. और एक चीज हम बता दे रहे हैं, सपोर्ट
जी.
अगर आप 1 डे का टाइम फ्रेम में काम कर रहे हैं ना, तो आपको सपोर्ट वीकली टाइम फ्रेम में देखना चाहिए.
ओके.
ऑलवेज सी सपोर्ट एंड रेजिस्टेंस ऑन हायर टाइम फ्रेम. अगर हम इंट्राडे ट्रेड कर रहे हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर 5 मिनट्स का चार्ट पर ट्रेड कर रहे हैं, तो हम 15 या 30 मिनट्स में सपोर्ट देखेंगे. और वो सपोर्ट्स का एक ये जब एंटर हम जब लास्ट करने वाले होंगे ना, तो हम वीकली चार्ट में जाके आपको दिखा देंगे कि सपोर्ट रेजिस्टेंस, ठीक है.
क्वेश्चन में दिमाग में आ रहा है, आप
हाँ.
सबसे राइट हैंड साइड स्टार्ट में देखेंगे आफ्टर 2030 16 जो
आपका फिर से वॉइस थोड़ा सा मेरे को एक बार फिर से बोलिएगा.
ओके ओके, नो इट्स फाइन, नो प्रॉब्लम, आई रिपीट माय सेल्फ. वो 16th सबसे चार्ट के राइट हैंड साइड में अराउंड 16th के बाद, राइट, फरवरी में वो दिन वॉल्यूम बहुत ज्यादा है, आप देख पा रहे हो सबसे राइट हैंड साइड बॉटम
16 फरवरी के बाद.
करेक्ट. ये
राइट राइट. हाँ, यहाँ पे वॉल्यूम काफी पीक हुआ था. अब ये बता रहा देखिए, ये वॉल्यूम काफी पीक हुआ. हाँ, ये वाला वॉल्यूम हम 28 जैन का बोल रहे हैं ना, ये जैन है शायद, नहीं नहीं फरवरी का बोल रहे हैं ना.
हाँ, मैं ये बोल रहा था, ये देखिए, ये वॉल्यूम काफी ज्यादा था, राइट, ऑन ये 8 मार्च,
राइट
वॉल्यूम ज्यादा,
हाँ
ग्रीन था. आई थिंक दैट्स अ गुड थिंग टू
राइट
मे
राइट.
बी.
हाँ देखिए, ये परफेक्ट एग्जांपल है. हम आपको देखिए हम क्या बोले, देखिए यहाँ भी सेम सेटिस्फाई कर रहा है. अगर आप देखिएगा तो ये जो लास्ट स्विंग लो बनाया था, ये आपको 20 दिसंबर को था, राइट, मंडे डेट, ठीक है. उसके बाद ये क्या क्या यहाँ पे बनाया, फिर ये पुल बैक किया, राइट. नेक्स्ट कैंडल से आया, इसको तोड़ा और ये नीचे गया, ठीक है, पर नीचे नहीं सस्टेन करके ऊपर आया. इसमें वॉल्यूम ज्यादा है क्योंकि यहाँ बायर और सेलर दोनों प्रेजेंट था, राइट. हेलो. उसके बाद इसमें बायर और सेलर दोनों प्रेजेंट था, राइट. क्योंकि इसमें वॉल्यूम ज्यादा है, कैंडल का साइज उतना नहीं है, कंपेरेटिवली पिछले का कैंडल दिखेगा तो उसका वॉल्यूम इससे कम है, पर कैंडल साइज थोड़ा बड़ा है इससे, राइट। तो यहाँ पे सेलर था, अब यहाँ पे आपको इंडिकेशन मिल रहा है कि बायर एंटर कर रहा है, ये वाला। लेकिन हमको फर्दर चाहिए अपना, बायर एंटर कर रहा है और मेरे को फर्दर कंफर्मेशन चाहिए कम वॉल्यूम से बड़ा कैंडल का, जो कि नेक्स्ट कैंडल हमको दे दिया। देखिए
कंफर्मेशन है मोर ऑफ कि हाँ इस लॉन्ग आगे बढ़ेगा।
आपका ना वॉइस बार बार गड़बड़ हो जा रहा है।
ओके ठीक है सनी, तो
हाँ हाँ, तो
So
ये देखिए।
Amit,
हाँ हाँ
a very basic question. ठीक है, चलो. So now let's say I am a retailer. ठीक है, I know that Reliance is a good company and I want to enter this company. ठीक,
right,
and I'm just starting out. So when I'm looking at the charts, what I'm really looking at is ki, how do I really identify which swing lows and swing highs to consider as a reference, right? Last 2, 3, 4, or let's say we pick the chart for last 1 year or 2 year and try to identify those zones of swing lows and swing highs which are actually important. Is that something that we should look at, or we should just look at last couple of swing highs and swing lows and then work towards what could be a good entry price?
see, I'll say, see, if you look over here, see, the swing highs and swing lows should be there, but it should be of, I think, at least 5 to 10%, right? I mean to
Mm-hmm.
say that if there is a very small swing high, I mean this one, if you consider on 25th of Jan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you, so here, if you see, consider a swing high, this is a very low high, right, over here. So you will not consider this. See, in this case, what I'm saying, that the market has on 20th December, the market has gone
Mm-hmm.
from 2248 to 2570.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this was a somewhat as a good, at least saw 100 or 100, मतलब 5% के आसपास एटलीस्ट मार्केट जाना चाहिए। फिर जो स्विंग एटलीस्ट
Mm-hmm.
5% का होना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर 1-2% का स्विंग लेंगे ना, तो उसमें क्या होगा कि उसमें मेरा टारगेट उतना अच्छा नहीं आएगा, राइट।
Okay. Okay.
जैसे हम, अगर आप कंसिडर कीजिएगा, हम वो भी बताएंगे कि कौन सा स्विंग लो, कब मेरा कंफर्मेशन होगा कि ये ट्रेड लेना है कि नहीं लेना है, ठीक है। देखिए ये वाला कंसिडर हम करते हैं, तो अगर हम यहाँ पे देखते हैं तो ये मेरा मेजर स्विंग लो है, ये जो दिसंबर 21
Mm-hmm.
हुआ है,
Mm-hmm.
उसके पहले भी देख लिए। हाँ, ये दिसंबर 21 को ये एक स्विंग लो बनाया था यहाँ पे, फिर इसको तोड़ा है। अब ऐसे देख लीजिए, मार्केट यहाँ से यहाँ नीचे आया है, राइट। ये एक स्विंग लो बनाया है, ये ऊपर गया, अभी तक आपको बाई नहीं मिला। फिर यहाँ पे एक स्विंग लो बनाया है, ठीक है। फिर यहाँ पे एक ये ऊपर गया है, अब ये इसका हाइयर हाई बनाएगा, अब इसके नीचे आएगा तो हाइयर हाई बनाएगा इसको, राइट।
Mm-hmm.
लेकिन अभी तक आपको बाई का कुछ मिला नहीं, यहाँ पे हाइयर हाई बनाया, फिर ये नीचे आ गया, ऐसा कोई कैंडल आपको आया नहीं, फिर एक लोअर लो बना दिया यहाँ पे, ठीक है। अब देखिएगा, अब यहाँ पे हम क्या नोटिस करेंगे, ये जो लास्ट और स्विंग लो था उसको ये ब्रेक कर दिया,
Mm-hmm.
ठीक है। उसके बाद ये ऐसे करके गया। अब हम देखेंगे कि ये जो लास्ट जो स्विंग हाई है उसको ठीक से क्रॉस कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा है, मतलब
Mm-hmm.
प्रीवियस स्विंग हाई को, जैसे यहाँ पे आया है ऐसे नीचे आ गया। अगर ये स्विंग लो को नहीं तोड़ा रहता ना इसको, अगर ये इस पॉइंट को नहीं तोड़ा रहता, तो ये ग्रीन कैंडल को हम कंसिडर कर लेते हैं एज अ बाइंग। समझ रहे हैं हम क्या बोल रहे
Mm-hmm.
हैं? क्योंकि देखिए ये एक यहाँ पे अगर हम कंसिडर करें, तो यहाँ पे एक स्विंग बनाया, ये नीचे आया, फिर ये देखिए एक उसका लो बना
Mm-hmm.
और इसका लो को तोड़ दिया है, राइट। तो हम इसको यहाँ नहीं कंसिडर करेंगे। अगर इस लो को नहीं तोड़ा रहता और यहाँ से ये
Mm-hmm.
ग्रीन कैंडल बना दिया रहता, तो हम यहाँ बाई कर लेते। अब इसको वेट ब्रेक करने का वेट नहीं करते,
Okay.
ठीक है।
Okay.
क्योंकि ये
Okay.
तोड़ दिया है ना, इसलिए हम इसको कंसिडर नहीं करें, नॉट कंसिडरिंग।
ठीक है, परफेक्ट परफेक्ट, ठीक है। तो आई थिंक अब हम लोग को वो देखना चाहिए कि एंट्री प्राइस जोन क्या हो सकता है हमारा, राइट?
राइट। अभी
कैसे आइडेंटिफाई और क्या कर सकते
राइट
हैं?
राइट
ओके,
देखिए, अभी हम
प्लीज।
जस्ट आई, अभी अभी का एग्जांपल पे हम आएंगे, विल कम टू द एग्जांपल नाउ। हायर हाई हायर लो, हाउ इट वर्क्स, राइट। तो देखिए अभी मार्केट को हम देख रहे थे, चलिए ये एक हम लोग एग्जांपल देख सकते हैं जो कि लास्ट टाइम से जो था। देखिए हम ना, एक्चुअली आई वाज टेलिंग दैट थोड़ा मेजर फॉल होना चाहिए। देखिए ये मेजर फॉल हुआ है, ठीक है ना। अगर इस तरह का फॉल हो ना, देन वी कैन टेक ट्रेड, कि ठीक है मेजर फॉल हुआ है, तो एटलीस्ट मेरे को नेक्स्ट टारगेट यहाँ तक आएगा, राइट।
हम्म।
तो इस केस में देखिए मार्केट यहाँ गया, ये रिवर्स किया, राइट। तो एक तो चूंकि ये इसका लो को तोड़ दिया था, ठीक है, और उसके बाद ये कम वॉल्यूम पे बनाया, सो वी हैव टेकन अ ट्रेड ओवर हियर, राइट। अगर ऐसा नहीं होता, तो फिर एक कंडीशन मेरा यहाँ ट्रेड लेने का बनता है। ये हाई बनाया था, ये एक नीचे आया, फिर ये ऊपर ही है, और ये नीचे आया, फिर ये एक अच्छा कैंडल से ऊपर ही है, तो यहाँ पे एक ट्रेड हम ले सकते
ओके
हैं। देखिए हम फिक्स
ओके।
में जा रहे हैं। एक एक यहाँ पे आप जैसे, आप अगर टुकड़ों में, इफ यू ट्राइंग टू बाई पार्ट्स, नॉट यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू पुट अ मनी एट टाइम, what you can do, you can buy some shares over here, let it make a swing high, and you need to see that it is not making any low below this, right? And this is your stop loss for first half which you have bought, right? This is your stop loss. मार्केट यहाँ नीचे आया, अब यहाँ पे कोई ना कन्विंसिंग कैंडल नहीं बना रहा, राइट? ये सब कन्विंसिंग कैंडल नहीं है। उसके बाद फिर ये आके ये कन्विंसिंग कैंडल बनाया, राइट? अब तो आप क्या कर सकते थे, यू वुड हैव एडेड मोर शेयर्स ओवर हियर, और आपका स्टॉप लॉस यहाँ से उठ के यहाँ पे आ जाता
ओके, सो व्हाट यू आर सेइंग इज कि आपने जहां पे ये स्विंग लो को तोड़ करके ऊपर जा रहा है, यू पुट इन लेट्स से 20-25% ऑफ योर कैपिटल व्हाटएवर इट इज, राइट?
है, राइट?
देन वेट फॉर इट कि स्विंग हाई को वो करे, अगर वो रीटेस्ट करता है, डज नॉट ब्रेक योर स्टॉप लॉस और द प्रीवियस स्विंग लो, देन यू एंटर द रेस्ट ऑफ द अमाउंट और व्हाटएवर इज
हाँ,
इज इज
और
गुड
एक
फॉर
गुड
यू,
बुलिश
राइट?
कैंडल बनाता है, आफ्टर इट मेक्स अ बुलिश कैंडल से ये बनाया, ठीक है? ये नॉट कंसिडर दिस स्मॉल कैंडल्स, राइट? वी लुक फॉर अ बिग, तब फिर विल मेक अ एंट्री, एंड द टारगेट विल बी दिस स्विंग हाई। मार्केट
ओके,
यहाँ से एक स्विंग हाई
परफेक्ट
बना के ऐसे है, तो ये मेरा
परफेक्ट।
टारगेट रहेगा। यू सी देख, यहाँ पे आने के बाद फिर तो हल्का सा नीचे आया, राइट? फिर वो ऊपर।
ओके, परफेक्ट। सो अमित, कैन वी डू वन थिंग कि अभी का जो सिनेरियो चल रहा है रिलायंस में, कैन वी एनालाइज दैट
राइट, राइट,
अभी?
श्योर, श्योर।
Yep.
हाँ, so we can see over here that market is somewhat near the support area. You can see over here, right? At 2316,
Mhm.
it is breaking it, but it is not convincingly closing below it, right? We need to see the close in daily charts, right? ये close नहीं
Mhm.
कर रहा है, but we have seen that from here it has tried to pull back over here, right? Again it is coming
Mhm.
down, but if the market comes down and it doesn't break this low, right, and makes a bullish candle over here somewhere, then we can enter a trade.
Okay. Okay.
You got it?
Okay.
What
Now,
I'm trying to say?
Amit, एक और simple सा question. So, generally we hear that price follows earnings, right? So
Right.
right now, what we see is that there is a considerable down movement in Reliance, and we see that the earnings were not even sort of favorable or sort of negative-ish, right? But we also see that the price is hovering around the support area. So what should I do as a retailer
See,
there?
as a retailer, I'll tell you one thing, right? See, the earning date was on what? 20th Jan, right?
Mhm.
I'll see the previous earning day also. That was also
Mhm.
not positive, right? That was also negative. Huh?
Mhm.
That was on 21st October. But you'll be thinking that white has came down is going up, right?
Mhm.
Before that only you'll find that the market has already discounted this, the price.
Okay.
So actually what will happen, many person will have the clue that the earning is not going to be that strong. Okay. So what will happen? They will keep on shorting. And what happens in stock market, ये लोग ना फ्यूचर देख लेता है, ठीक है? मतलब देखता नहीं, फ्यूचर को डिस्काउंट कर लेता है, द प्राइस डिस्काउंट द फ्यूचर। तो उसमें क्या होता है कि देखा कि ऑलरेडी काफी मार्केट गिर चुका है, उसके बाद इसका अर्निंग निगेटिव भी आता है, तो बिकॉज दैट इज ऑलरेडी डिस्काउंटेड इन द प्रीवियस प्राइस, ठीक है? उसके बाद वो मार्केट ऊपर निकल जाता है, राइट?
Okay.
अब यहाँ पे देखिए, सेम आपका यहाँ पे आपका अर्निंग का आया है, लेकिन ये अर्निंग आने से पहले देखिए मार्केट काफी करेक्ट हो चुका है वहां से,
Mhm.
ठीक है? तो ये काफी करेक्ट हो चुका है, तो अब चांसेस है कि वो यहाँ पे बॉटम वगैरह बना के ऊपर निकल जाए।
Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Amit. Yeah. Please continue.
ओके, तो मैंने ये भी देख लिया, और हाँ, मैं एक बता रहा था कि वील ट्राई टू सी दिस। हाँ, ये अगर हम ये वीकली चार्ट में जाते हैं, तो हम लोग ये देख सकते हैं। ओके, आई ओपन अ वीकली चार्ट।
Meanwhile, guys, what Amit has shared is something that you should practice on different charts and perhaps on daily time frame and get comfortable. Look for all swing highs and swing lows, right? And look for price action whenever the price is hovering around, say resistance or support. That is your swing highs and swing lows in this particular case, and
So
look
here
for
you can,
yep.
yeah, here you can
Amit,
see
please
that
go ahead.
you can see the screen where weekly chart is there. Can you see?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So see what I have or earlier said that if you are making marking any resistance, right, or any support, you try to mark on the higher time frame. If you are trading on a daily time frame, then you try to mark that on the weekly time frame, right? We'll see over here. See, if you consider this, you'll get this as a swing high, right? From here, the market has fallen. So I'll consider this as a my resistance, right? So you'll find that the market is coming near to this and it is going down. Once it has crossed this, right? It has came back, it has retested and it has gone over. So you can find this level is working fine. It is coming over here. Price is trying to move up. Price is trying to move up. So this area, and what if you have made one swing high is this one, the next swing high is somewhat this one. Okay. So what you do now, you mark this complete area as a support or a resistance. Right? Got it what I'm trying to say?
Yep, yep.
The same thing over here. If you mark the previous one, see again this is a swing high. You can mark this as a support or resistance. This is your initial. You'll find this one as a resistance, but after you get these two, you can mark this also support or resistance. See, support and resistance will not be an exact point. It will be an area, right? See, the market is coming to this area. It is pulling up, right? It is resistance when it is going down, but when the market is coming down, it will act as a support, right? See, you can find this acting as a support. This range, it is acting as a resistance. You got it now? What I said?
Yep, yep. I think now it is clear and should be clear to all our viewers also. Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is. If any doubt, you can ask.
Uh, we see that on the weekly it's just making some sort of doji, is it? I mean,
Yeah. That is what
the current
it is.
candle. Yeah.
It is sort of an indecisive candle, right?
Hmm,
Since market is not, it is not able. It is in the weekly. It is not able to decide whether it has to go up or down, right? So
hmm.
in the weekly, from weekly, it's still not clear whether the market is positive or negative, right? See, this type of candles, if it makes in weekly, it is highly positive candle.
Okay, okay.
This candle. If you see this, this candle, if you find weekly candle, it has broken the resistance with a big candle. So this is a bullish candle. But if you take trades now, you try to take trade on the this one is a confirmation candle. It has came down over this, and this was what it was
Mhm.
a resistance point. Market has gone up, it came back to resistance, and again it has taken a pullback. So always try to take entry on pullback. If it is breaking high, in this case, what is happening? It is see one more thing. First, you can see the curve. How you will find that the market can break the upward resistance. See, it is making a U shape over here. Okay. If you find this and this length, this is what the swing was, right? Market has came from 2367 to 1834, but the next time the swing was more smaller. Again, it was much more compressed. So what is happening? It is getting compressed, right? So there are chances that the market can break this and getting compressed on the higher end. Okay, so I'll end over here and we'll hand over for fundamental, right?
One question, Sinaji.
Haha, okay.
2319 is a good support. Am I clear now?
Two,
Two
three.
three one nine 19. Just from our audience perspective, in case they want to take a position.
See, I have marked the support area, right? What I told that this area is a support zone, right? This
Okay.
2364 to 2265. These are support zone in weekly time frame. That is what I am
Week.
saying.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay. So if that falls within, then it's good. Good.
No. I
Good.
am saying that this is a place where you need to look for the price action.
Okay. Okay.
These are the place where we can look for a price action. If you are getting a positive price action in daily time analysis, this is a weekly. Weekly, I mark the range. Okay, this is the range where if you get a positive price action, you can go for a long trade over here.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Then we'll switch over to the fundamentals and look at quick filters and yeah. Thank you.
Amit, I think you need to stop the recording and then,
Okay.
yeah, please.
Sami, yeah. Thank you, Amit, for sharing the wonderful technical analysis and the support levels, and of course, the volume price action. It was wonderful for audience as well as. And now get into the fundamentals of it. Right? That's on a technically. Now look at the fundamentally. This talk all about. So just to summarize, Amit has already shown you the technically, but on a 10 years pattern, that's what Reliance industry look like. It's not about support and levels on overall. So from 2014, around 494, that's the price part. At the moment is somewhere 2336, somewhere around that. Yeah, that's on overall return. If you want to compute the return, you can do that. You can load technically, of course. For detail, you have to analyze the chart. I'll get into the his peers. I'll get into peers. If you guys have any input, please let me know. Okay, so first thing I want to highlight is current ratio. I look at and what is called current ratio. So looking here 1 year down the line, every company will have asset and liability. Right? So current ratio indicates whatever liability you have in next 1 year, how much companies at the moment are capable of all those assets and cash flow that can be converted into cash. I repeat, whatever asset company has, based on that, whatever can be converted into cash, and that cash is respect to the liability that they have for next year, 1 year. It could be anything, inventory, the stuff they're buying, the goods to make the raw materials. So it's a liquid that can be converted, all those assets that can be converted into cash by the liability that are going to pay next 1 year. That's current ratio. Anything above 1 is quite considered healthy. Yeah. So look at the peers. In peers, they have the healthy current ratio 1.1. That's one way of AC test looking from the accounting perspective. Second would be return on asset, right? So whatever asset they have at the moment, with compared to that, the return they are making, okay? Third would be interest coverage ratio. So whatever interest liability they have, they're paying interest on top of that. At the moment, with compared to that debt that they have at the balance sheet, how much more into? So here, they're more than 6 times capable to pay those debts. That's on a high level. Apart from that, yeah, so three things I want to highlight. We can already get into numbers for time being, but I will get into something wonderful, okay, that I believe it's. So this cash conversion cycle, right? I want to highlight these features. What happens? There's a company, right? They buy the raw material and get with the raw oil for the Reliance that way, but I'm just making it generic to understand. And they put it into inventory and then sell off. So once they do that, look at it, right? So 2022, they are buying raw material for some company. Yeah. So they have to. Yeah. You're saying something? Anybody? So data days would be is something that they have to. I mean, 22 days, right? Inventory days. How much days they have in the inventory and days payable. Whatever they are buying, right? They are buying from the raw material. After 64, they have to make that amount payable to them. Yeah. But once they sell something, they're only getting the money 22. That's a wonderful ratio to look at. Okay, I repeat again. So, right? So they have to pay the money. So apologies. They'll get the money, the cash from the customer in 22 days, and they have to pay their the goods they're buying, the raw material they're buying after 64 days. That's a good healthy ratio. Why I'm feeling that. So basically that will 26 days itself, right? So inventory, the average look at that, this inventory, whatever they are creating in terms of, right, whatever they are doing on the top of the oil refinery. So minus 22 days, that means they already have got the money already. Right? So before even they go to the market, they have the money in their books, the cash, okay? That's called cash conversion cycle. So from 26 days to minus 20 is one. So they have a cash before even they sell that money. They have the advance monies. Look at that, right? Yeah. So these are the two, three things I wanted to show. And apart from that, sales growth, you can look at 10-year sales growth, 5-year sale growth. So 3 years it was not great in terms of sale, but last TTM, the trailing 4 quarters, last 4 quarter, it has gone 36%. That's a good thing too. But this is normally sole criteria to look into any stock. Profit growth is pretty fine. Yeah, that's just something I wanted to show from my side, guys. Do you guys have anything? Any questions? Please go ahead.
Yeah, one basic question, Amit, here. Now, when we look at these ratios, for example, let's pick current ratio, right? And let's look at its value in the current year, in the preceding year, and preceding -2 and -3 year, right? So when we look at it, at least from 2018 to 2019 to 2020, the current ratio is less than 1, right? And from 2021, we are seeing the current ratio is above 1. So that's a positive thing, right?
Correct.
But when we try and look at, how the share prices are behaving, right? So there is some sort of a plateau from 2021 with respect to price itself. So what does it mean and how does it correlate? On one side, we are saying that Reliance, is in a better shape to pay its liability from 2021. But again, we are seeing sort of a plateau in terms of share price. So I, as a fundamental investor, let's say, or someone who's trying to invest, how do I really take this? How do I really analyze it? The company's liabilities versus assets is improving, right? But I don't see that price appreciation. So I don't really make any money as far as I'm concerned, even though the underlying quality is improving. How do I analyze that?
Okay, that's a good question. There are answer in 2 ways. So for long-term investor, right, who are parking for, let's say, a couple of years, I lay 3 to 5, maybe more than that, right? They will be looking at current ratio. Why? They want the money to be safe. Point one. I'm not getting into the return for the moment, right? They want to show that this company, in a way, on a balance sheet, from the accounting perspective, is safe. It's not going bankrupt. That's the first criteria for a long-term investor. Okay. Now, second thing would be what you're talking about, the returns. Returns can have a variety of growth. It could be theme-based. It could be growth perspective. So what I mean by that, it has a 1 point current ratio, but there are many companies in NSE that does that. They will have 1.3, 1.4. But that's more from the accounting perspective. Coming to the return, if a normal, usually investor would look at the sales growth, right? For example, I give one thing. Sales growth is only 7%, right? Yeah. I'm just saying one of parameter, no? So that way you look at the 2 way to look at, right? Why people may not have, they do not see that much growth, right? Why they don't see a growth, that could be a different discussion altogether. And hence people are not not buying that stock for long-term perspective. Yeah, that I hope that answer, but let me know if you have any other question on that.
No. Thank you. That somewhat answered my question, because this same question goes towards let's say, for example, interest coverage ratio also. It's kind of a from a higher ICR to a lower ICR, and the ICR increasing. So this can be seen for Reliance Industries, but I think it's a positive sign. I hope so, right?
Yeah. So if you yeah, go ahead. Anyone say something?
Actually, I think that the price basically, I think that the price basically depends, means what will be the price of the share, basically depends upon the EPS, right?
Correct. EPS growth is a very critical factor. Yeah, you're right. Good. Thanks.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Because in that case, what is the share price is that it will depend on the EPS. If the EPS is going to increase, the share price will increase.
That's right? True. That's true. You're right.
EPS will depend upon the PAT, what the PAT it is making.
So on that one, we look at this EPS growth, right, as a determining factor for now. So you understand. So look at till here. September 2021, it has 20, right? And then it's a 27. It's going down here, right? A bit off, but that can happen to any industry. We have to look why it's going down. Is going for a company or is going across the peers, right? That's two different parameters, right? And again, it's picking up and then again gone down. So if I look at from here, essentially 2022, and yes, DPS growth is not that significant. Relatively, it's a flat. So that way, one additional factor that determine why it's a flat, more or less, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So there are a variety of what I'm trying to do the SWOT on that. A two-way to look at company. Each company can go bankrupt. That is very important for a guy who is investing his hard-earned money from the long-term delivery on a perspective, 3 to 5 years. He will look at current ratio. He will look at a return on asset. He will look at interest coverage ratio. But a guy who is just trading off, right, technically, maybe for a month, he may not be that interested, right, in the fundamental. I'm not saying he should not be, right? He may not be. He's doing just getting into intraday mode, look at a technical chart, he buys that off, and it doesn't matter to him. What is the key ratio? But if somebody buying, holding in a demat, right, for some time, for them, return on asset, current ratio, and maybe EPS growth, he's right. I mean that is very important, long-term perspective. But my bet would be technically somebody who's trading, somebody investor, these parameters would be in a two different bucket altogether. Of course, people look, the smart investor look at both the parameters. What is so technically they look at the spot the position, right? Is going to probably go up by 30%. And then they also see valuation is quite good. They also look at the fundamental ratio. All and they buy that way probably some much more return than any average user will do. Yeah.
And what about from a valuation perspective, Ahmed? Should we also look at, let's say, price to book or price to earning ratios?
It is
from a valuation perspective.
It is important. It is very important. For example, if let's go one by one, but try to just not make sense. I'm looking individually. But if I'm an investor, right? I'm looking at this P, right? Just for example, IUCL, MRPL, and CPCL. I just look at P. Of course, you understand because this is probably a mega, right? So that's the reason people are okay to pay 24 P, 25 P, right? But it's quite cheaper from the valuation perspective. But that is not everything, right? Immediately you get into debt equity part, right? How much debt they have? Yeah. Look at these two, 1.27, 1 point. So much debt they have compared to Reliance. Even they have a 0.40. Yeah. Then look at the return on equity. If you just compare, but here, I mean, relatively 0.90 and 0.95 is not that bad. If I'm not wrong, even a Godrej consumer probably has around 0.9 something. Okay, because it's possible that there are sort of big companies, right? They can make up. Probably what I mean by that, over the time they can make that current ratio greater than 1. They can do that. Okay, with the asset, because try to understand current ratio just said in the next year what can be converted into the cash. So they have an asset. They may not be able to do 1 year. They can do it in 1.5 years. They might be able to sell the asset on the balance sheet and try to convert it to cash. It's just saying that look at the moment it looks convert to the cash, but they can also convert other assets too into cash in some time, if not in 1 year. Okay, that's a quick check on the accounting terms. Okay? Now look at return on asset, right? If you look at only from the return perspective, the peers, I'll bet on these two, MRPL and CPCL. I'm just looking at this individually. I'm not making combination. We have to look at combination of maybe all the ratio fundamentally. Even the same holds the technical, right? Price, volume, support, resistance, buy zone, sell zone. Similarly, you look at all the parameters. Look at the CPCL. It's a healthy interest coverage. Yeah? It's very cheap compared to book value 0.7. It's a healthy. It's good to buy, but yes, you have to rely on everything, right? Look at this for profit growth, negative 132%, right? Yeah, Reliance is only 4% slope, right? Down. So that way we have to look at everything. Of course, return on capital. So that way CPCL quite looks better than Reliance industry. But for some reason, it could be good. Yeah.
MRPL does government have stake in MRPL or what?
We need to check that. We can just click here, and if it does allow that, we can just see if you get it. It's a good question. You can see who it is, right? So it looks the Aditya Birla Group and HPCL, subsidiary of it is an ONGC. So it's probably part of ONGC is a government entity. Then yes, it is. If not, it's a private player. Yeah.
Actually, government share doesn't get valuation. That is the why this is not trading at a high price.
But there is an additional factor to it. What happens? Government company normally give lot of dividend out of profit. Okay?
Right.
That's way it looks quite cheap. But the government, let's say they have a 70% stock in ONGC, right? So 70% of that dividend goes to government. Okay, the profit. Yeah. So that way the earning that comes for the share, because it goes to dividend, a lot of stake, that also put in a more of a reasonably good buy perspective. Yeah. But yeah, if you're looking from the dividend perspective. So I think with that, is there anything we want to get into? If not, I think we just wrap up. Yes. Yeah.
I think that this has been a great session. Both of you have covered, technical and fundamental. Both of you have touched upon, what to look for and what to not look for. Essentially, things to be wary of, with respect to support and resistance, and what to look for when doing a fundamental analysis. So thank you, both the Amets, right? And hope our viewers also learned something out of this session, and probably we'll meet soon with another stock and another analysis, and trying to provide a different perspective on how to analyze a company or a stock, and so on and so forth. So thank you all. Thank you, Amit, both the Amits, right? Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Samit. Coming up that, if you guys like our content, please go and like and subscribe and share with your friends and family. Thank you for being here. Yeah, and that's sums it. Yeah.
चलो जी, हो गया, डन।
अभी ऑडियो में दिक्कत नहीं आ रहा है इसमें?
नहीं, अभी ठीक है ऑडियो आपका। आपका ऑडियो उसी समय गड़बड़ा था।
तो हमको लगता है कि सिन्हा एक आज क्या प्लान तुम्हारा, एक और वीडियो शूट किया देखा, वो मेरा क्वालिटी ठीक हो गया।
अरे वो तो आप क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे थे ना, वो चलेगा, हम बार-बार करके पूछ ही लिए।
क्या सिन्हा बोलो?
वो तो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे थे ना, फिर एक वीडियो नेक्स्ट वीक बनाया जाएगा।
हाँ ठीक है। समित, अभी तो क्या करना है, सिन्हा चैनल पे वीडियो डाल दिया, राइट? सिन्हा, आई थिंक तुझे अगर कुछ काम हो तो तू जा भी सकता है और बैठ भी सकता है। ऑफ कोर्स जाएगा तो मुझे
नहीं, अभी काम नहीं है। 5 बजे आज पार्टी वार्टी है, थोड़ा तो 5 बजे।
आए है सिन्हा जी। तो सिन्हा वीडियो कहाँ डाला है? जो डाला है कहाँ डाला है उसका?
नहीं, हम अपने पास सेव रखे हैं, बोलिए ना कहाँ डाल दे।
उसको अपलोड करो ना, अपलोड करना पड़ेगा ना समीर।
नहीं, कहीं तो ऐसा जगह पहले शेयर करना पड़ेगा ना, जहां से फिर वो सारा वीडियो को एडिट मार
देखो यहाँ दो पार्ट है सुमित, समझो। अगर हम सिन्हा का वीडियो अपलोड कर, सुनो मेरा आइडिया, अपलोड करते हैं, वहां पे हम लोग देखते हैं एडिट का क्या क्या ऑप्शन है वहां पे ब्राउजर में। उसको
स्टूडियो अलाउ करता है मर्ज करना वीडियो को, हम नहीं देखे हैं वो ऑप्शन।
हाँ, हम समझ रहे हैं। अगर नहीं करता, हम दोनों मिलके करते हैं और भी सिन्हा भी रहे कॉल पे, और नहीं करता है तो हम लोग चाहें तो पार्ट 1 पार्ट 2 कर देंगे, टेक्निकल फंडामेंटल।
ना, अरे वो फिर नहीं करेंगे भाई, एक वीडियो पूरा रखो। आई डोंट थिंक दैट्स अ गुड आइडिया।
तो एनीवे सिन्हा, तुम वीडियो अपलोड करो वहां पे यूट्यूब पे अपलोड करके प्राइवेट करो।
यूट्यूब पे करेगा या फिर ये यहाँ पे कर देगा? कहीं और नहीं है हमारे पास, क्या हो सकता है? रुको देखते हैं ना कहाँ पे जगह है, देखते हैं, रुको।
नहीं, मैं इसलिए सोच रहा हूँ, मुझे लग रहा है मर्ज होगा, मैं अभी चेक करता हूँ, इसीलिए मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ।
एक बार देखो ना, कोई वीडियो खोल के देखना, मैं फिर मर्ज का ऑप्शन आ रहा है, तब तक हम कोई जगह ढूंढते हैं ना यहाँ पे, मेरा वन ड्राइव या कहीं पे अगर जगह होगा बचा हुआ।
मैं जब एडिट में जाता हूँ, एडिटर में कुछ है क्या? लेट मी सी।